Okay, I know the title sounds a bit weird. I know, but please hear me out. Because I feel like I'm going crazy and I need someone, anyone, to tell me I'm not. It all started 3 weeks ago in my AP US History class. We just finished the Vietnam War unit and Mr. Henderson started talking about Reconstruction, which is normal, right? Wrong. He showed a slide and I swear it was a picture of a Tyrannosaurus Rex wearing a suit. A full 3-piece suit with a tie. Standing on a presidential platform with the national emblem and stuff. I thought this must be a joke, maybe some kind of meme to grab our attention. Mr. Henderson had done some weird things before. Last month he dressed up as Alexander Hamilton and lectured the entire time as Hamilton. So I sat there waiting to see what joke he'd come up with. But the joke never came. Mr. Henderson continued. President Scales. S-C-A-L-E-S. Make sure you spell it right on the test. Was elected by a landslide in 1974. His campaign slogan was solve modern problems with prehistoric solutions. Resonated with Americans weary of the political system. I looked around. Everyone was taking notes. Taking notes. My friend Jessica was highlighting in her textbook. There was an entire chapter about a dinosaur president. I leaned over to look. There were pictures. Several pictures. President Scales shaking hands with Gerald Ford. President Scales throwing the first pitch in a baseball game. President Scales giving his inaugural address. His tiny Tyrannosaurus Rex arms barely reaching the microphone. Mr. Henderson? I raised my hand. What is it, Connor? Are we doing an alternate history exercise? Like the Man in the High Castle or something? The whole class turned to look at me as if I'd asked something completely absurd. Mr. Henderson frowned. I don't understand, Connor. We're studying the history of the Scales era. It's standard curriculum. But he was a dinosaur. A Tyrannosaurus Rex. And dinosaurs have been extinct for 65 million years. Dead silence. The silence was deafening. Then someone laughed. It was Brad from the football team.
Dude, what are you talking about? Are you on drugs?
No, I mean, listen. I just mean dinosaurs and humans have never coexisted. They couldn't possibly be present in the 1970s because they went extinct thousands of years before humans evolved. Mr. Henderson's frown deepened. He wore that teacher's worried look, the look they give you before calling your parents. Connor, I think you might be mistaken. Yes, the Mesozoic dinosaurs went extinct, but the Cenozoic dinosaurs, those that survived the asteroid impact, evolved alongside humans, and some even developed intelligence. We learned about it in our freshman biology class. Are you all right? I didn't feel good. I feel like I'd just woken up from another dimension. There were no Cenozoic dinosaurs, I said, my voice trembling. The asteroid killed them all. All of them. That's basic science. Jessica nudged my arm.
Connor, seriously, are you alright? Should we go to the infirmary?
Stop pretending, everyone, like a living dinosaur is president! Mr. Henderson stood up. Connor, I think you should get some fresh air. We'll talk about it after class. So I went outside and completely broke down in the hallway. I pulled out my phone and searched the absurdity online. The internet would surely prove I wasn't crazy. I typed in President Scales Dinosaur. The search results appeared. Wikipedia entry. Scales, 1920 to 2003, was an American politician who served as the 38th President of the United States from 1974 to 1982. As a member of the Dinosaur Democratic Party, Scales was the first theropod dinosaur to be elected president. There were many pictures, really many. Some black and white photos, seemingly taken in the 1950s, showed a young Tyrannosaurus Rex in military uniform. There were also color photos from the 1970s of his inauguration. his thin arm resting on a Bible held by a seemingly very patient Supreme Court justice. My hands trembled as I flipped through these materials, one entire section dedicated to the Scales era. This section recounted several key achievements of his presidency: the Dinosaur-Human Reconciliation Act of 1975, the establishment of the Department of Paleontology, the controversial two-fingered or two-clawed Equal Rights Amendment. Oh, and not without scandal, the Jurassic Park of 1979. The Park Scandal. I found the video, real footage of President Scales giving a speech. His voice sounded hoarse, and he was a huge reptile. His press conferences were insane because reporters had to use specially made, tall microphones to accommodate his height, and this happened several times. He accidentally knocked them over with his tail. There's video footage of him trying to sign bills with a specially made, extended pen held in his tiny Tyrannosaurus Rex claws, sometimes taking 3 tries to succeed. Back in the classroom, I couldn't concentrate at all. Mr. Henderson was talking about the Velociraptor rights movement and the 1976 Brontosaurus labor dispute, and also mentioned Scales' nomination of the first Stegosaurus to the Supreme Court. After class, he made me stay.
Connor, I'm worried. Your outburst just now wasn't like you. Is everything all right at home?
Mr. Henderson, if I may be so bold, none of this is true. Dinosaurs are extinct. They don't exist anymore. They've been extinct for millions of years. He sat on the edge of the table.
Connor, I know being a sophomore is stressful, but making up outlandish stories won't solve anything. If you're having trouble with your studies, I can arrange tutoring.
I didn't make anything up. It's the dinosaur president you taught me.
That's right, because there really were dinosaur presidents in history. In fact, there were several, but Scales was undoubtedly the most popular. The Velociraptor president took office in the late 90s, though his term was more controversial.
Shut up! I shouted. Don't pretend this is normal! Mr. Henderson stood up, looking genuinely worried.
I'm going to call your parents. I think you might need to see the school counselor.
That was Monday. By Wednesday, I had already been to the counselor twice. Mrs. Patterson, whom I usually liked, today, with an irritating calm, made me sit down and talk about my denial of the dinosaur extinction. This isn't denial, I said. It's a fact. The Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event, an asteroid impact, iridium layers in the geological record. The dinosaurs went extinct. She nodded slowly, writing something in her notebook.
When did you start having these ideas that contradict established history?
They don't contradict history. They are history. Real history.
Connor, I want you to consider that you might be experiencing some form of dissociative episode. Sometimes pressure makes us question reality, and this questioning feels very real to us.
I wanted to scream, but I held back and asked, "Can you provide any evidence that the dinosaurs survived?" She turned the computer screen towards me and opened. Good heavens, I didn't even know where to begin. The Smithsonian Institution's website had a section dedicated to the evolution of Cenozoic dinosaurs. It had scientific papers, peer-reviewed journal articles, and photos of dinosaur skeletons in museums. Not the fossils I remembered, but specimens from the last few thousand years. The website had a complete timeline showing how some small theropod dinosaurs survived asteroid impacts by burrowing, and then, over millions of years of evolution, developed greater intelligence and small, fully functional anti-throat thumbs. Clearly, we had coexisted with dinosaurs for millennia before humans appeared. Jurassic Park? I asked anxiously. That movie? The one where they had to clone dinosaurs because they went extinct? Mrs. Patterson looked confused.
You mean that documentary about theme park safety violations? Connor, that's not about cloning. It's about a park that, for entertainment purposes, attempted to genetically modify some mentally challenged dinosaurs to make them more aggressive, ultimately leading to the tragedy of 1993.
No. No, that movie was released in 1993. It's science fiction. It's about...
That movie was released in 1995. It's based on the Senate's investigation into the park incident. Steven Spielberg directed it. If you want to rewatch it, we might still have it in our library.
I felt like throwing up. Thursday, things got worse. Mr. Henderson was sick. Probably because the student's denial of basic facts was putting too much pressure on him. We got a substitute teacher for history class. The substitute teacher, Mr. Garcia, continued teaching the unit on President Scales.
Today we're going to see some footage from President Scales' term,
he said, pushing an old-fashioned television on a trolley.
This is a news report from 1976.
The video began to play. The picture was rough, old, but absolutely real. Or at least as real as the fake moon landing video, only this video looked more real. Walter Cronkite sat at his desk discussing President Scales' approval ratings. Then the scene switched to Scales at a press conference. What truly shocked me was how real the video looked. Really, incredibly real. His movements were fluid and natural, unlike electronic animation. The lighting effects didn't match the computer effects of 1970s because there were no computer effects back then. As he spoke, his small arms waved clumsily. His tail swung back and forth, knocking over a potted plant. A Secret Service agent picked it up impatiently. A reporter asked him about the economy, and Scales replied in a deep, resonant voice. "The American people, whether human or lizard, deserve better treatment than economic stagnation. That was the policy of the previous administration. That's why I proposed the midlife Marshall Plan." I stood up, trembling. This isn't real. It's been edited, a deep fake. It can't be real. The whole class sighed. Someone threw a crumpled piece of paper at me.
Connor, please sit down.
No! Can't you all see how ridiculous this is? Dinosaurs don't wear suits. They can't talk. They don't understand economics. They're lizards! Dead lizards!
They're not lizards.
Brad corrected me.
They're theropods and avian dinosaurs, related to birds. We learned that in our freshman year.
In our timeline, they're related to birds because birds are the only surviving dinosaurs. Those little guys. They evolved into birds. They didn't evolve into politicians wearing ties. Jessica burst into tears.
Connor, you scared me.
Mr. Garcia turned off the television.
Connor, I need to take you to the principal's office.
Well, maybe Principal Rodriguez is the only normal person in this building! Warning, Principal Rodriguez is not the normal person I expected. Principal Rodriguez is a velociraptor. I've seen him before, of course. I've been to this school for 3 years, but I've never really looked at him closely. He's about 5 feet tall, covered in feathers, and has those signature curved claws. When I came in, he stood up from behind his desk, his tail steadily balancing him.
Connor, please, sit down. I've heard you've been behaving a bit strangely.
I just stared at him, at the crest on his head, at the claws holding his pen, at his amber eyes, those predatory eyes that seemed to be tracking my every move. You're a dinosaur.
I'm a velociraptor, that's right. And you're a human. And I'm glad we've confirmed our species. Now, what do you mean by denying the existence of dinosaurs?
I'm not denying it. You're right here. I can see you. But this isn't normal. This world doesn't work like this. He leaned back in his chair, which had a deliberately left gap at the back.
Connor, to be honest, this might sound like more than just stress. I suggest you see a doctor. I'll call your parents to pick you up.
An hour later, my parents arrived. The drive home was quiet at first. Then my mother turned around from the passenger seat.
Connor, honey, what's wrong? Mr. Rodriguez said you've been claiming dinosaurs don't exist?
Not that they don't exist now, but that they didn't exist in the past. They went extinct 65 million years ago, never co-evolved with humans, and certainly never had a president. My father gripped the steering wheel tightly.
Son, I don't know what stage you're going through, but you have to stop. You're disrupting the classroom and worrying the teachers. Frankly, your denial of dinosaurs sounds like you've been reading too much conspiracy theories online.
This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is real history. Asteroid impact, mass extinction.
Yes, there was a mass extinction.
Mom said patiently.
Most of the dinosaurs went extinct. Most of the smaller dinosaurs and Tyrannosaurus rex survived. They evolved. That's basic science, Connor. You learned that in elementary school.
No! What I learned was that all the non-avian dinosaurs went extinct. The only survivors became birds. Dad pulled into the driveway and turned off the engine. He looked at me in the rearview mirror and I could tell he was genuinely scared.
I think you need help. You really need help. This isn't normal.
I'm the one who's not normal? The whole world has gone mad! That's when I made a mistake. I took out my phone intending to show them the real Wikipedia I remembered. But when I opened it, the content was exactly the same as what I'd seen before. President Scales, Dinosaur Democrats, the Dinosaur-Human Reconciliation Act. I tried showing them my old textbooks, the ones from last year, but when I took my world history textbook off the shelf, chapter 14 was titled The Age of Dinosaur-Human Cooperation, accompanied by a full-color illustration, a triceratops pulling a plow with a human farmer directing it. This isn't my book, I whispered. Someone switched them. My mother started crying.
Baby.
That night they took me to the emergency room. The doctor who treated me was kind. Too kind. The kind of kindness people show when they think you're completely insane.
Connor, this is Dr. Patel. Can you tell me how you feel?
Everyone thinks there was a dinosaur president in history. Everyone acts like dinosaurs and humans have always coexisted. But that's not the case. They went extinct millions of years ago. She nodded, taking notes.
When did you first notice this contradiction?
3 weeks ago. Monday, in history class.
Have you used drugs? Even marijuana?
No.
Any family history of mental illness, schizophrenia?
No, I'm not crazy.
I'm not saying you're crazy, Connor, but you are experiencing a disconnect from mainstream reality, and that is something we need to take seriously.
They admitted me for psychiatric treatment, an evaluation. I spent a week in the adolescent psychiatric ward at St. Mary's Hospital. Let me tell you about the worst week of my life. Everyone there was so nice, so understanding, so patient, even with me, the kid who thinks dinosaurs are extinct. They organized group therapy, and I had to sit with other teenagers who had real problems, and I tried to explain, no, I'm not delusional. Yes, I know dinosaurs still exist, but they shouldn't exist this way. A girl, Sarah, who was there because of severe anxiety, tried to help me, telling me maybe I'd seen some movies or something that made me think they're extinct, like science fiction.
I remember learning about it. In school, teachers taught it, books talked about it, museums talked about it too. The Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event, Chicxulub crater, iridium layers. But these are all partial extinction events. For example, yes, most dinosaurs went extinct, but not all. Smaller dinosaurs survived. Just like the Ice Age didn't wipe out all mammals.
That's different. That's completely different. My therapist, Dr. Reeves, took a different approach. She wanted me to accept reality, not to accept what I want it to be.
Sometimes our brains create false memories. This happens far more than you think, and you might be remembering things incorrectly or confusing fictional events with real history.
I've been like this my whole life? I've been confused my whole life?
It's not your fault. The brain is complex, but the good news is we can overcome this together.
They prescribed me medication. Antipsychotics, the kind used for people who hallucinate. But I wasn't hallucinating. Everyone else was. Or rather, they were all collectively delusional. Or maybe I'd stumbled into another parallel universe where dinosaurs never went extinct, integrated into human society, and even ran for president. By the 5th day, I was exhausted. The medication made my head spin. Every conversation, every treatment, every gentle correction from the nurse eroded my beliefs. Was I wrong? Had I been wrong all along? Dr. Reeves showed me photos from my childhood. 5-year-old me was standing in the contemporary dinosaurs exhibit at the Natural History Museum, next to a live stegosaurus. It was when I was 8, at a petting zoo, feeding an animal that looked like a small pachycephalosaurus.
Do you remember these?
I remember a little. The memories were both real and unreal, like a 3D image that only appeared when you relaxed your gaze. I remember that zoo, but there weren't any dinosaurs, only goats.
Are you sure? Really sure? Look at yourself in the photo. You look happy.
I did look happy. All smiles, feeding a creature that shouldn't exist. By the 7th day, I broke down. Okay, you were right. I was wrong. The dinosaurs survived. They evolved. President Scales was real. Dr. Reeves smiled.
Very good, Connor. That's real progress. How are you feeling?
Tired.
That's normal. You've been fighting reality for a long time. You're tired. But now you can rest.
I was discharged the next day. My parents came to pick me up. They were relieved. My mom hugged me tightly for a full 5 minutes while my dad signed the discharge papers.
We're so proud of you. We knew it must have been tough.
Yeah, it certainly was. We drove home, and I'm back at school next Monday. Everyone was unusually friendly to me. It was a friendly feeling, seemingly normal on the surface, but you knew they were all secretly watching to see if you'd break down again. Mr. Henderson called me aside before class.
Connor, it's good to see you back. Do you feel ready to continue your studies?
Yes, sir.
Good. This week we'll finish the Scales administration and then move on to the Reagan era. If you need any help keeping up, just let me know.
I sat down. Jessica gave me a sympathetic smile. Brad nodded at me as if we were on good terms. Mr. Henderson began his lecture.
As we've discussed, President Scales' economic policies, though controversial, were ultimately successful. The Jurassic Jobs Program got millions of Americans, including humans and dinosaurs, back to work after the recession.
I took notes, highlighting key points in my textbook. I looked at photos of President Scales at various state events, his tiny Tyrannosaurus Rex arm shaking hands with foreign dignitaries, his tail carefully positioned so as not to knock over the antique furniture in the White House. I accepted it all. What else could I do? That was 2 weeks ago. Yesterday, I visited my grandmother. She lives in a retirement community called Middle Ages Estate, about an hour's drive from me. We were having tea in her living room when she suddenly brought something up that sent a chill down my spine.
Have you heard?
She asked, dipping a cookie into her tea.
The Scales family is considering running again.
I froze. What?
Well, not President Scales himself. It's his grandson, Scales III. He'll become the first third-generation politician in the presidential family. How exciting.
Grandma?
Oh, dear. His grandson is quite the figure in the Lizard Man Democratic Party. He's rumored to be running in 2028 or 2029.
That's
3 or 4 years, yes. Such exciting times. I voted for his grandfather in 1974. In my opinion, he was the best president we've ever had. He truly united the entire country after Vietnam.
My hands were trembling. Grandma, can I ask you a question? Do you remember the Vietnam War? I mean, do you really remember?
Of course, dear. Those were terrible days. You know, your grandfather was in the army. He was in the 23rd Airborne Division with a Pteranodon reconnaissance unit. They were incredibly useful for aerial reconnaissance. Your grandfather used to tell stories about his Pteranodon friend, a lovely dimorphodon named Shirley.
I put down my teacup or else I knew I'd smash it. Grandma, did dinosaurs participate in the Vietnam War?
Yes, some kind of dinosaurs did. Mainly the flying ones, and some smaller velociraptors. There was a lot of controversy at the time about whether deploying dinosaurs in a war zone was ethical. The Dinosaur Rights Alliance staged a lot of protests.
I'd like to use your restroom. I locked myself in the bathroom, my hands trembling as I pulled out my phone. I Googled Vietnam War dinosaurs. The search results were page after page. Pentagon documents included sections on Operation Thunder Lizard. There were photos, blurry color photographs from the 60s and 70s of soldiers in helicopters with pterosaurs flying around them. News reports about the controversy, veterans' testimonies of fighting alongside dinosaurs. There was an entire Wikipedia article about the Raptor Red Scare, where Americans feared communist dinosaurs from China might infiltrate the United States. I looked at myself in the mirror. I was pale, trembling, and on the verge of a breakdown. But this time, I didn't want to fight anymore. I didn't want to argue anymore. I didn't want to go back to the hospital. So I'm on Reddit now, 2 a.m. I feel like I'll have a nervous breakdown. What I want to know is, does anyone remember that dinosaurs went extinct 65 million years ago?
Most heartfelt greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. I eagerly welcome you to Sturgeon's most premier station, Dusklight Radio, hosted by yours truly, the effervescent, ethereal, and immersive Everett J. Blackwell. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out some of our other transmissions. We're adding them regularly, and we'd love to have you as part of the Dusklight family by subscribing, hitting the bell of snakes, and you guessed it, more snakes, and leave a comment with stories you'd love for my many-legged runners to find. Now, I want to thank all of our patrons for making this possible. If you want to sign up, it's as little as $1 a month, and you get exclusive content, early access videos and stories, updates, and more. But times are tough, and we will always be grateful for support no matter what form it comes in. Financial, spiritual, corporeal, maniacal, whatever you want. It really helps us out. Dusklight gives thanks to our Purple Crayon Eaters, Creature Creations, Kid Kiriyama, Emma, Aiden, Becky Sinani, Rory Shamba, Camilla Roca, Oliver Yourface, Suds, PV69, Desert Bluffs, Justy Blue, Paul J. DeSena, Darkness Within, Christian Hatting, Calculi Zero, Mothman, Orphan Yuka, Okami-san, Ian Hancox, Echo Kane, Gail Alstad, Alex, Candyman Gloving, Ashabel, Phi, Max, and Feeny Von Karma. Our janitors, Isabel Vladislaus, Mima, Razzie Berry Pie, Ryan Moore, Ressery Cardwell, Brianna Elliott, Darktail, Kenza, Oliver Topolug-Natale, Alex Hansen, Allie, and a special shout out to someone joining the crew in Art Nightborn. Art spends his nights taking people around Sturgeon in his yellow cab. I guess Art needed extra money, especially in this economy. DJ Muffin, Shane Lewis, Ducks, Joy Flint Healy, Sabiel Eclipse, Death 31, Heather Cayley, Adrian R., Amy, Arkham Cookie, and Alex Nunez. Our Nightmare Detectives, Kikuhime 1202, Halo Davis, Mama Chewy, Melanie S., and Fox Clifford.
our Void Walkers, Domaine Silvers, Rat Squash, and Professor Creepypasta. Now, you will meet more of our new Blackwell family members in a future upload, but for now, let me run down the list of who we've got. Our new Blackwell members marching their way into town are Sabrina Blackwell, Biggie Blackwell, Aphrodite Blackwell, Wojciech Blackwell, Olivia Blackwell, and Mike Blackwell. You'll learn more about these fascinating new members of our family in an upload very, very soon. Then, of course, there is Great Uncle Ven Blackwell with his forbidden knowledge, Izzy Blackwell, our resident bug devourer, TJ Blackwell, who seems hell-bent on stealing the spot of our janitor supremo and his purple crayon stash, Delira Blackwell, our new resident physician and provider of pestilence pills and poultry, Adela Blackwell's firebending and illusions and grand waffling, Ethan Blackwell, abyssal fisher and repo lord, Jackal Blackwell, head chef and mystery meat purveyor, Clue Blackwell, the chrysalis of unknowable horrors, Tabitha Blackwell, void water baron and forever frenemy to our last entrant, Papa Kyle Blackwell, from his tower of bones, broth, and spines, preparing the outer gods to recognize his claim alongside his hobo queen and little inheritor of the bone throne, who is already 2.5. We love and fear you, Papa. We thank you humbly for your patronage and look to see you bright and early for Dusklight orientation. Purple crayons and existential dread will be provided. And one last time, listeners, close your eyes and breathe with me. Remember, no matter how bad things are, how cruel people can be, and how heavy your shoulders may feel with the weight of the world bearing down on them, Dusklight will always be here to lift the load and provide you with some respite. Drink some hot cocoa with chocolate sprinkles and fat marshmallows. Have all the Christmas candy you can manage, watch a video about liminal spaces and cryptid sightings, and sleep on the cool side of the pillow with the window open and the stars twinkling down on you. Start and end each day with kindness in your heart. You matter, you are loved, and every day is another chance. I'll see you again when the sun sets and dusk enters the station.